Hello, everyone. My name is Max from Lumos Learning. We're going to be having a wonderful interview with Julienne Shields from USASBE. And we're going to go over everything that encompasses the company and everything that we're involved with there. So without further ado, let me welcome the wonderful Miss Julienne Shields.
Hello.
Welcome, welcome. So I just have a few questions for you. We can go over everything about company and what you guys offer and all that stuff. So let's get right into it.
Sure.
Can you tell us a little bit more about yourself and what USASBE is and why it was created?
Yeah. So, and let me get into kind of some of the mission, because we've been around for over 40 years, quite some time. But USASBE is short for the United States Association for Small Business and Entrepreneurship. And we primarily target educators and helping boldly improve entrepreneurship education through teaching, scholarship, and practice. So it's not just one or the other, you kind of blend it all together, because entrepreneurship education is very muscular, right? It's not just what you're thinking about doing, but it's also what you are actually doing. And so we really emphasize that practice is the best way to learn that. And so that's a little bit about what we do. For years, we have been primarily focused on a once a year in-person conference, which of course, because of COVID and just pandemic stuff in general, we really can't do that. So this past year, we pivoted, and this past January, we had a virtual conference, and we really wanted to do some things that were very different and very dramatic. And so we did that, and you guys are a part of that.
And we're so happy to be a part of it. I love how you talk about it like it's a muscle. You need to continually work that out and improve. And I think that's with most things, especially in the business world, for sure. So what are some of the key factors of USASBE, and what are some of the key points?
Yeah, so we focus on a couple major things, like I said, research, teaching, and practice. And so with research, it really is, what are some great, what's the importance of research, and how do we translate that and incorporate it into our practices within the classroom? How do we incorporate it into what is learned in the classroom? So research is a very important part of what we do, but research is just one aspect of it. We actually have to learn, how do we best translate and help the learning happen with students. So that pedagogical emphasis is also incredibly important to USASBE. So making sure that it's not just what we know, but how we talk about what we know, and how do we make sure that that impacts and changes lives. And that gets into the third element, which is practice. And, again, it's something that we have to, move and do, not just in the classroom, but outside of the classroom as well, with co-curricular endeavors. And so when you think about how you bridge all those things together, it is the community that we build, right? We learn from these different perspectives how to be better at what we do. And so when I really think about USASBE, it is a community first, and it's an inclusive community of not just researchers or just teachers or just practitioners. It's all of us together in this great blended environment. Virtual environment now.
That's awesome. That's awesome. So you talk a lot about this community. How do you join and become a member of this community?
Yeah, it's super easy. You just pay membership dues. That's really that's the first step. But being involved also means getting engaged. So it is joining some of our social interest groups, for example. They're kind of our mini tribes, if you will. So when I started with USASBE, I started engaging with the creative arts social interest group, and really found some of those people that I have supported through research endeavors, have engaged with for different kind of teaching practices. So that was meaningful for me, extremely meaningful to kind of find that initial connection. But certainly people get connected through our research journal, Entrepreneurship, Education, and Pedagogy, which is a CLAWS listed research journal. But man, there's just so many different ways to engage. Like the dues is just like the beginning part, but the rest is all of this other stuff. But we also now are getting more engaged with things like professional development activities, like workshops, webinars, certifications, etc. So those are some new things that we're trying to do to make sure that we're not just a once a year conference value, it's a year-round value proposition to our members, because problems and challenges arise all throughout the year, not just once. So.
Great. That's really awesome to hear. And you went and talked about everything that I wanted to hear, especially about the beginnings. That's great to hear as well. So again, congratulations on your annual conference. We had the pleasure of taking some of the videos and taking a look at it, and it seems really great. And we love what you guys are doing and the people who you bring aboard to talk about the different topics. So we noticed you just completed that, and that's a great thing. So can you tell us more about the conference and what encompasses all of it?
Yeah, and so it's a multifaceted event, right? So, and what we did is we took a look at, again, because we have many different constituencies, we wanted to make sure people could jump in and out of the conference as it made the most sense for them. Additionally, virtual conferences are kind of tough to sit through for 8 hours. So what we did was we broke it up over 4 days. Each day had kind of its own thematic emphasis, but it was flexible. And then the beginning of the day, the first half of the day, was more of the stage time, where we had the peer-reviewed research, peer-reviewed teaching exercises, programs, etc., as well as featured presenters, keynotes, and plenary. So this was when we were able to really talk about, like the it's not the sit and get, but kind of like, right? How do you fill the inside of your head? The second half of the day was the interactive and engaging part of the day, where these were the emerging teaching exercises or the emerging research, where you might tell a little bit about what it is you're working on, but then you're really engaging and having that conversation about what works, what doesn't work, what ideas do you have, how might you translate this. That was the part where we really differed from many other virtual conferences, is that we set aside a significant chunk of the day for that engagement and interaction virtually. I know people said they were tired of Zoom, but the reality is that's where we're at right now, and you get to have people from all over the world engage in these conversations. We also had our SIG meetings and mixes and meetups and stuff like that in the second half of the day as well. So that is a little bit about it. Again, we had these peer-reviewed papers, we had featured presentations, we had keynotes as well, and we just kind of flavored and mixed it all together. It was great.
Yeah, just making it different from just sitting on a Zoom meeting, just like you said. We've been in this world, this digital world, for almost a year at this point, and it's crazy to think about that anniversary of us going to this digital world is coming up. So definitely, what you guys are doing are making it more flavorful and fun to interact, and making a digital space where you can really interact with the community, and that's what your members do. You have a great community that interacts with the panelists and the people who you brought onto this team, and it's great to see that as well. And when we watch and we view this, we see that also, and we see everything that you guys are doing. So it's really great to see that. But besides the conference that you do, the wonderful annual conference, what else do you guys provide, like professional development programs or workshops and certifications? What else do you guys provide?
Yeah, so this is part of some of the big changes that we've embraced because of the pandemic. We've launched a adjunct entrepreneurship educator certificate, which we had like 30 people sign up for, which was crazy. We didn't even really talk about it all that much, but that was one of the big things that I suppose it was a surprise. It was a number of people had said, hey, this might be a good thing, but we actually operationalized it this year. And then we also took a look at what was typically our pre-conference day, which had learning journeys and deep dive workshops and other kinds of events, and said there's no reason to have just one day of those. We can certainly break that up over a number of days and give people an opportunity to kind of pick and choose what they're involved in. And so that also was a great opportunity. The entire month of January is really professional development this year for our members. But we have webinars and workshops. So our social interest groups have put on these amazing webinars for their members, and they're great recruiting tools. They're great kind of, tactical type of like, hey, we've got this pain. Let's find somebody to come and help us through this pain. I think those have been fantastic. But the cool part is we get contacted by organizations that aren't necessarily members, but are doing some incredible things with entrepreneurship, and being able to say, now we have this new modality, this new tool to be able to plug them in, help our members get better at what they're doing. And that's just incredible. I just love that.
Love it too. That's awesome. That's awesome. So what again, you talked about some of the benefits of why and what certifications. So it definitely is something that people should check out and look into and do, honestly. Being in this digital world, it's something that you definitely should use as a tool and as a resource. So what do you do in your workshops, and what's the difference between this and your conferences?
Yeah, so with the conference, we have like a 50-minute chunk of time to kind of give a high-level overview and maybe some discussion, right? And you might even have to share that 50 minutes with another party, right? So that's the other piece of it, because there's only so many hours in a day. With the workshops, they are more deep dives, right? And so they will have, like a 4-hour chunk of time. Here's some exposition, here's some workshop time, here's some exposition, here's some workshop time. So it really does allow our members and participants to gain a better skill and even maybe practice with that skill and do some peer-to-peer learning. So that is a primary difference. When it comes to our adjunct certification and what we're going to be doing with future certifications in those niche markets, they're not just a one-time event. It's over a couple different periods of time. And then there's engagement throughout, as well as some kind of a demonstration of understanding and knowledge. So the certifications will come with some kind of demonstration aspect of it as well. And that part's really fantastic. And we've heard that these kind of multi-day events will be great if they are on demand, and then to still have some kind of demonstration afterward in order to get that certification, which is the path we're walking down at this point in time.
Multimodality is something that it really is important nowadays. Just being digitally, again, talking about keeping people engaged, multimodality, working with certifications and teaching and education, which comes to Lumos Learning and StepUp. How has the StepUp platform helped you during this conference?
Oh my gosh. So one of the big challenges is, you saw it, Max, we've got like over 100 different sessions, and many of those, I mean, the feedback we got was that the content was incredible for our conference, better than anything that they had seen in the past year. And not just better than, that seems really kind of snooty. That's not what I mean, but the volume and quality was outstanding. And so when you think about the volume of it, it can be kind of daunting to say, okay, now, I had to pick 12 different things over the course of 4 days. I want to go back and see the other, 100 things that I missed. How do I cull through that in a timely fashion? And that's really where, as we engaged with you, we saw the light bulb really went off, that many of our members still have a focus. Maybe it's social entrepreneurship, or maybe it's creative arts, or etc. They're able to now search all of those different things, that they will be able to search all the content that is in that the conference chunk, and be able to see where was this mentioned? Where were some of the things I'm interested in mentioned, and how can I get a fuller understanding of what's happening within the entrepreneurship education discipline? It's just powerful, powerful stuff. And they can continue to do that as their research or their teaching changes over the next year or two. Again, powerful.
Amazing, amazing. So it's technology and using that technology to your benefit, and not only just for you guys to catalog all this information that you guys have in this important context, not only for your presenters, but now for your members as well. And for people who want to buy it, and take it separately and learn on their own, they can now use this information on their own. So that's something that with the Lumos Learning technology and the StepUp program, we can take that even farther. So how are you using this program, the StepUp program, for now your workshops and your certifications?
Yeah, similar kinds of things, right? So we're a very small shop here in headquarters. So as we're looking at how do we operationalize this value for our members, having a partner like you guys to say, look, we know how to do all the back end stuff. We can make it really slick and easy, and be able to have it be financially viable for us too, where the risk is reduced to the point where it's palatable, and allows us to leverage some of the incredible potential, take some risks, some calculated risks that allow us to do some fun stuff. I mean, again, it's a perfect scenario.
Amazing, amazing. So is this on-demand access to your learning resources free, or is it going to be?
It's a great question. So for those, so two different things. One, for our conference attendees who took the risk on us to, register for this event period, they will be able to access the conference repository through Lumos Learning for free, no additional charge. However, those who were not able to come to the conference but still want to have access to it, they will be able to pay for a fee, pay and have access to it, which I think is great. And our hope, of course, is for them to realize, wow, USASBE really knows what they're doing, and now we want to be a part of their community. We're a bold community. If you want to have great conversation, we're the place to come. So that's one of the reasons why we're doing it that way. For the future certifications and professional development activities where there's a significant kind of chunk to it, those will be pay-per-view. That's not the right word. Pay-per-access, if you will.
Pay-for-access, yes.
Pay-for-access, yeah. And that also makes sense because you don't necessarily need to be a USASBE member in order to access those things. But again, the goal is to impact a broader community, whether or not people say, yeah, I want to be a part of our community, or whether we just want to help impact entrepreneurship education throughout the world. So I think that there's some really good opportunities.
So
there.
you guys are offering not only tools for people in your community, but for people who may be just passing by and want to pick up some information along the road. So you're really multifaceted in that sense, which is great. And now in this digital space where you get all this information from different areas, we can now create it in one space. And that's why this partnership is so awesome and very eventful for us and hopefully for you guys. And we're already seeing like the fruit of our labor when we are creating these programs and seeing everything come to life and seeing it out. But we really want to help out this community, your community, as well as just people passing by. And that's something that we see. One thing that's super cool, and I know you touched upon it a little bit, about the video search tool. How is that super important for you and your members?
Well, so we have limited time too, right? I mean, that's like our members are busy. They have obligations for research and teaching and service, and they've got a million things going on. So being able to say to them, you don't have to remember exactly where you heard that, or you don't have to be able to know exactly where to go, but just put the search criteria in and you're going to get resources to the point in the video where it takes place, or to the point in the added resource that takes place. Oh my gosh, just being able to save our members that kind of time and provide that kind of value, that gets me jazzed. I'm pretty excited about that.
Amazing. And then just one more question for you. So can you tell me a little bit about your experience with working with the Lumos team?
You guys are amazing. You guys are fantastic. So the individual who referred us to you, I even sent him a note saying, thank you so much, because it's so great being able to work with you. And you guys are just forward thinking, and you try to take like, what's the next thing I can do in order to make our lives easier, right? Like that's incredible, because we're just walking down this path for the first time. And so being able to not to sit back, we're not sitting back, but to be able to relax and say, I know that the best step forward will be taken. That's the real advantage with you guys. So I really appreciate being able to work with you on that.
And that's why we love partnerships and love working with people like you and companies like you, just working in tandem and creating what you want and customizing it to what your needs are, and finding out what, at the end of the day, what is the goal, and then reaching and attaining and hopefully surpassing those goals are always the ideas that for us. So what can we do to take that extra step? What can we do to move that forward? Hopefully it takes 2 steps forward instead of 1. That's always the idea, right? Yeah. So I can't thank you enough so much for joining me today. I truly admire what you're doing at USASBE to help on business and startups, and your commitment to supporting entrepreneurship, bring educators, practitioners, and leaders together, and even everybody from a big CEO member to somebody who's maybe just starting up. It's something that's truly admirable and incredible that you're doing that. So thank you very much for joining me.
Absolutely. My pleasure. Anytime.
Wonderful. Thank you.